Hi, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Hi, this is a best-selling author. I threw the best-selling in there. Best-selling author Dick Wybrow.
I'm Melanie from Second Shooter.
This is Jeff with Second Shooter.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Allen from Bridges Ablaze.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
Yo guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola amigos, this is Billy Sheehan.
Hey guys, this is John Karabi.
Hi, this is Jim Valance.
What's up everybody, it's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey guys, it's Leva Leone.
This is Nothing from Inside the Trojan Horse.
What's up guys, Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
My name's Reggie and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
The most amazing things that can happen to a human being will happen to you if you lower your expectations. Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. Here are your hosts, TbT and Ace.
Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. I am TbT. That guy over there is Ace. This is episode 152 of the Weekly Pour podcast. It is Tuesday. It's 83 degrees. And before anybody says anything, Ace is more clear now than he has been since he was using oxy pads on his face as a teenager.
I had a revelation. My mind is now clear. My face is clear. You know, I'm rejuvenated.
Are you so clear now because the rain is gone?
No, we haven't had rain in weeks, and I was still fuzzy.
That's true.
It was like I was reaching to you from a ghost realm at times, from the other side. I think people thought I was a spirit.
Yes. And speaking of Limp Bizkit, have you heard their new song?
I don't listen to Limp Bizkit.
Okay, that must be that's your Nickelback. Like we're already jumping into it, which whatever. Limp Bizkit has a new song out. If you didn't know.
Okay. That's interesting because they've been so active lately. They have been very active.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that they would throw a single out there at all.
You know the name of the single?
Nope.
Making Love to Morgan Wallen.
Is that really what it's called?
Yes, it is.
Is it sarcasm or is it a true story?
I don't believe that it's a true story. Okay. I wouldn't put anything past Fred Durst, but no, I don't believe it. Yeah, it's interesting. It is absolutely a Limp Bizkit song. It's good. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Hello to everybody in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Our regulars are in there. It looks like Shannon, I believe, was the first one in tonight. Let's see. Kathy's in. Kathy, how are you doing? Mama TBT's in. And of course, moderator Natalie, who may or may not get fired tonight. And apparently, Mrs. TBT just doesn't care because she has not stepped in. So whatever. Hey, Mama TBT's in there. Yeah, I already said her, but
she's right there, isn't she?
I don't see her.
I think she sits right across from you and gives you stern looks when you say dumb things.
That's why I moved.
Is it?
Yeah. That's why. Oh, wait, she's there. She just jumped in and said, I'm here. But whatever. That's good. I appreciate it. If you guys are in, make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you're watching on the YouTubes, if you're watching on the Book of Face, hit that like button. Be sure to comment, say hello. You don't have to carry on a conversation, but at least say hi. Let us know you're there. It's Wednesday. And
yeah, you said it was Tuesday a minute ago.
Did I really?
You did.
I'm still stuck on the fact that we used to do these on Tuesdays. And then we moved to Wednesday like 2 months ago.
Well, ABC scheduling and all. Summer scheduling.
Yes. Yeah. Just breaking news. Jimmy Kimmel and his Late Show have been pulled off of the air.
Are you joking?
No, it just came across the wire.
That's really?
Yes. Just came across. I'm not going to get into details because they're irrelevant right now. If you want to know, go look it up after this show. You have to watch us first. But yes, ABC pulls Jimmy Kimmel's late night show off the air.
Colbert's already got something going on. I think he's working on something, but he was just pulled off, what, a month ago? Canceled?
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. These guys, though, in the modern day, won't have a problem doing something because of the platform we're on right now.
Correct.
Could very well carry their shows. So yeah,
Well,
that's interesting news.
And really, so could TikTok
carry a show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could be on any of these platforms and do something.
Yeah. I mean, all you got to do is, if you were referring to YouTube as a platform or just the fact of podcasting as a platform, you're 100% correct. Either or, yes. Because this is the route to go.
Right. For example, Conan O'Brien, his show was canceled off of first he was on NBC, I think.
Yeah.
And then moved to TBS for his show. And I love Conan O'Brien. He's a funny guy. But when that ended, he eventually did a podcast. I think he's got a podcast now, I think.
Yeah.
So that platform's out there. There's all sorts of them. Your profile's different, but still, when you got a big name, you'll still pull plenty of people in.
You'll pull hundreds of thousands of viewers and subscribers at the drop of a dime.
Right. And what are they most popular for? How many people actually sit and watch late night shows, or do they watch the clips that are posted for the late night shows promoting them on YouTube?
So back in the day, it used to be you would stay up and watch it. I'm just as guilty. I would stay up and watch Saturday Night Live. I've done this with Raw. I've done this with SmackDown. I don't want to stay up and watch it. And you know what I'll do? I'll go watch the highlights on TikTok or, whatever social media. So to answer your question, you don't even need to stay up late anymore because it's like watching a football game. They start a football game at 10 o'clock at night. Who wants to stay up and watch that on Monday night?
That's ridiculous.
When you got to go to work on Tuesday, you just get up the next morning and watch the highlights.
Let me rant for a second about that stuff, because it's almost like the reason America doesn't sleep and we have such a sleep problem is because of things like that. We start events at not 8 o'clock. It tells you 8 o'clock, but really kickoff is at 8:25. And then we got all the commercials. We got all the breaks. Football's the worst. People gripe about baseball being a slow moving game. Football's one of the worst because they have a timeout every 30 seconds.
Right.
And then it's on till 11:30 or midnight. And if you're trying to hang in there to watch the game every Sunday night, and then you stay up Monday night, and then Tuesday you're dragging, what good are you at work the rest of the week?
This is why our show is now on Wednesdays.
Right. And then Thursday you watch a football game, and you're dragging. Yeah. And then in between you stay up and watch Colbert, or you watch Kimmel, or whatever. And that's why America doesn't sleep.
Right. Maybe we should do that. We should move our show to 10 o'clock at night.
Maybe we should. We'll fill that
late
gap.
Show with TbT and Ace.
Yep, we'll fill that gap. Is that when we talk about football and Raw and other stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And making love to Morgan Wallen.
That's your thing.
No,
you and Fred Durst.
The only line, I have the lyrics pulled up. It's definitely Limp Bizkit. I said that a while ago. You can definitely tell it's Limp Bizkit. I mean, they have their own unique sound. But yeah, the only line that even mentions the name of the song is making love to Morgan Wallen in an elevator. I'll be turning and then typical Fred Durst lyrics, which I will not repeat on this show. We're explicit.
Wasn't Morgan Wallen listening to Limp Bizkit when he was hurling chairs off balconies and stuff like that?
Yeah, he was listening to break stuff.
Yeah, like break stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, so I don't know. This is kind of good. I like looking at all the breaking stuff before we get into our news. That was really it. There's nothing else on there. Ridiculous.
Yeah, well, but yeah, the platform for these guys, I mean, it'll cause an uproar like it did with Colbert. This will cause an uproar. Kimmel's 10 times more popular
Yeah.
as far as and more well known because he's not just doing political skits and jokes. He's doing other types of humor, so he's way more popular. I don't think he'll have a problem finding something.
No, of course not. I'm sure he's already been he's been contacted by now, I'm sure, and said, "Hey, how about you do this?" But whatever.
Maybe he and Adam Sandler and Will Ferrell can get together and maybe actually make a good movie.
I doubt it. Maybe he will do a residency in Vegas.
Everyone else does. I'm telling you.
Everyone else is. It is official. Finally, even though we've been talking about it, on the eve of his return to Las Vegas to perform at the iHeartRadio Music Festival, Sammy Hagar has announced the return of the Best of All Worlds Residency to Dolby Live at Park MGM for 11 performances, March 11th through the 21st and September 18th through the 26th of next year. This will reunite Sammy with the powerhouse Best of All Worlds band, which of course is Michael Anthony, Joe Satriani, and Kenny Aronoff. They also include multi-instrumentalist Ray Thistlethwaite. I love saying that name. Thistlethwaite. Thistlethwaite. It's like Big John Stud. Thistlethwaite. Engelbert Humperdinck.
Humperdinck.
The high octane only in Las Vegas show is a celebration of Hagar's legendary catalog, including the deepest dive yet into his tenure with Van Halen. The residency represents a once in a lifetime opportunity to see his band of brothers deliver one of the most legendary hits packed live shows of their careers. So it's pretty cool. In addition to that, if you didn't know, on October 10th of this year, so 4 weeks from now, Sammy Hagar will release Sammy Hagar and the Best of All Worlds band, The Residency, which is a 19-track live album recorded during the first run that they had at Dolby Live. And it captures rare deep cuts and Van Halen favorites, with the first advanced track, Summer Nights Live, available now. So very cool. I would totally go to Vegas to see that. I am pretty positive we have said that numerous times anyway.
Yeah, I would. If I had money, if this podcast generated anything, we would go.
Yeah. If we didn't have to pay the moderator, we'd probably afford to go.
That's the way it is, right?
Yeah.
Overhead.
Hair, makeup, backgrounds, internet.
But I'm all for this this live record. I'm all for that. We saw them, just a summer ago perform in Indianapolis in a rain-shortened event, but unbelievable how good that band sounded. Unbelievable. Yeah. And we saw them with Kenny Aronoff, right? Because that was right when Jason Bonham had to leave.
Correct.
Yeah. So, the thing is, that's what, March? Yeah. That's a lot of time between gigs, but I have no doubt they can deliver. I mean, they do have the Cabo gig coming up.
Yep.
In November, so it's not like these guys won't be ready.
No.
The Satriani will keep busy. Aronoff's always busy, and Sammy just drops in and does shows whenever he feels like it. So,
when was Satriani was going on tour with Steve Vai, wasn't he?
Yes.
Is that next year, or was that sometime late this year?
I would have to look, but I would think it would be late this year. I think it's going to happen pretty quick.
Yeah,
But now you got me looking.
So you look that up. I'm going to continue on with Sammy Hagar because in some other stuff that recently came out about Sammy, apparently he has went and said that although he had an amazing time at the Sabbath tribute, he was a little disappointed in his own performance, saying that despite having several weeks to prepare for the show, he was very disappointed in himself because he thought he learned flying high again. Now, if you don't know, a lot of performers, I won't say a lot, quite a few performers will every once in a while use a teleprompter. Same thing that you see at award shows, that you see on the news, so that they can have lyrics or whatever they are saying in front of them while they're speaking and or singing. Sammy Hagar said, "I don't use a teleprompter. I never use them, and he's not going to use one." Well, they ended up putting one up just in case. And he said, "No, you watch this." And he thought he had the song memorized. And right before he went on stage, he was distracted by a bunch of people. Because, I mean, this was a star-studded event. So even as as much of a star and as popular as Sammy Hagar is.
And professional.
Right. There's so many different people that he's probably not seen in a long time or never met or whatever. And then they end up announcing that it was his turn for the set. And he said he was like 50 yards from the stage and had to go running, to get up there. And he's kind of like out of breath walking around. They started the song and he's just went dead. Like his mind just completely goes blank and he's literally looking for the teleprompter.
They said there'd be one here. Where is it?
Yeah, the lyrics were moving faster than he was singing, but he finally got it together. But he says, if you want to talk about having your private part shrink up in front of that crowd, that's what it was. He readily admits that he choked. He's a pro, but then when he did Rock Candy, it was good. And although Flying High Again was good after they got it going, he said it was just one of those teleprompters, which is kind of funny. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a tribute, but there's so much going on.
So much going on and so many people.
Yeah, and to be such a professional, you're like, no, I'm not using a teleprompter. At least he can make fun of himself and be like, yeah, so I used a teleprompter. Right. At least to get him caught back up. Whatever. I think
that tour with Satriani and Steve Vai was June 13th in the UK, ended in July 28th in Athens, Greece.
Oh, so this year. So it's done.
Yeah, so they've already had that. So that doesn't mean he won't be doing something else.
I guarantee
these guys are always busy.
Yeah. Yeah, Hagar's not one to just not do anything. Like you mentioned a while ago, the Cabo thing, he's always got something going on.
Well, that's another thing too, and that's not a tribute, but that's another thing where so many people show up to perform that everything these guys do now seems like it's just a reunion. Like, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. Nice to see Rocklahoma we just had over Labor Day weekend, right?
Yeah.
And all that was people seeing old friends and things that talking about things they haven't talked about in forever, and that's what it seems like all these events are anymore, which is a good thing. At least you got friends you see on the road, right? It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the Cabo thing's 7th, 9th, and 11th of October. So that's coming up in just a few weeks.
Yeah, and so that has blown up over the last few 10 years or so. It's blown up.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can't pull this up real quick.
I always wanted to get tickets to go to that too.
Well, I'll tell you how much it is if you want to know. You might not want to know. 4 nights, October 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th. All shows are scheduled to begin at 9:30 p.m. Doors open at 7. The band this year is here we go. Sammy, Michael Anthony, Kenny Aronoff, and Vic Johnson.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool.
no Steve Vai, no Joe Satriani or Steve Vai for that matter. There are dinner show tickets. I'm perusing the website real quick just to see. Funny thing. So what is this? What is the difference? 4 shows.
And for those that don't know, this is for Sammy Hagar's annual birthday bash. So,
yeah,
was it October 13th? October 13th is his birthday.
Correct.
And every year they celebrate his birthday in Cabo at the the Cabo Wabo club that he bought with Eddie Van Halen and the Van Halen family there years ago.
Yeah.
He owns it solely now himself, and he celebrates his birthday there every year.
All right. I want to try to find a ticket. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. There's not a whole lot of details. All sales are final. All tickets are will call only for pickup, so you'll need to present a valid ID when picking them up. Your guest must be present with you when picking up your wristband if you've purchased more than one ticket. They are $78.
Oh, wow. Really?
That's general admission. The night of his birthday, the 13th, sold out. I mean, no surprise.
Well,
so what if we want to go on the 7th?
So what do you see? You know, like his birthday, is that when he's performing?
No, or he's performing every night.
He's performing every night.
That's my assumption. If you want to go to night 1, it is $78, and it is also sold out. So I'm not going to go through every day, but I'm pretty much suck it up. You ain't going to be able to see. And I don't see a good list here about who all's going to be there, but it's going to be stars.
They may not know yet.
They only got a few weeks. Surely they know.
People just drop in, hang out. It's a loose configuration of events.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need to know. When they did it off Catalina Island, I think it was Catalina Island during COVID.
Good salad
because there was issues. There was issues getting to Cabo because of COVID and all that. Hagar had done an interview where he talked about how much work goes into putting on his birthday bash, logistically, and trying to make sure there's enough room for people, and it was a nightmare. When he was doing it in Catalina because he had never done it before. It was always in Cabo, where the territory and you know what you're doing, and now you're doing it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So a lot goes into it. I'm making jokes about it being easy and everyone just shows up. No, a lot goes into it. You have to know who's going to be there. And isn't it funny that this guy's celebrating his birthday and yet he's doing all the work?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, isn't that normal?
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
Speaking of doing all the work, for those of you that are fans, you know that I am a big fan of this band. Steel Panther has been confirmed to have entered Dave Grohl's Studio 606 to begin recording their first new music since 2023, which is when they put out the On the Prowl album. In a recent interview with our friends over at Blabbermouth, or actually he was on a lo-fi podcast, I think is what he was on, and then Blabbermouth transcribed it, so we don't have to. Styx Zedenia, what? I'm not mentioning nothing. Styx was explained that they don't have a release date. But they are trying to record some new music. At a minimum, we're looking at 4 new songs with the possibility of 4 more, maybe. So maybe we'll get an album. Here's one of the big things that a lot of people may not realize about Steel Panther. They are the managers of their own band. They're the ones that do all the merch. Classic example, when I went and seen them one year in Louisville, Kentucky, Before the show, out at the merch table, Mr. Sticks Zedinia comes out to the table, just perusing the merch, making sure it's all set up, acting like he was somebody in the crowd. No wig, nothing. You had to really know what he looked like,
right,
without the getup to realize it was him. I realized it was him. But anyway, I didn't blow his cover. But anyway, they do everything. Their own record company, all that stuff, and yet their own label. These guys sell a crap ton of albums. Music,
right.
just in general, they sell a ton. So right now, anything that they do is on them, and they've been on tour just about as long as Metallica here lately, it seems like. He says that they don't know if they're going to drop some singles like a lot of people are doing now, and that we have talked about numerous times.
Right.
Or if they're going to do an EP. No clue. But we do know that we're going to get at least 4 more songs, probably around the beginning of 2026. And there's a possibility of a single coming out before Christmas or right around Christmas. So that would be pretty cool.
That's interesting that they manage everything still, to me. For what they do, they're relatively big. I mean, they're at least theater level business. I mean, they're doing okay.
Oh yeah.
And and they still, I mean, I'm sure it keeps costs down and things like that, and they want their hand on what's going on, but I'm surprised they don't have people doing a lot of that for them.
They probably do, but those people work for them.
Yeah, right. They're not working for an agency or hired out or anything like that.
Right. Feel the Steel, which was released, I don't remember when that was released, but the 15th anniversary edition was released late last year, November, and actually features 2 tracks that were only released on the original Japanese import. Those 2 songs were You Don't Make Me Feel Dumb, and of course, the other track, I'm going to get canceled for this. The other track was called I Want Your Tits. That's Steel Panther for you. They've been they've been around since 2000, so we're looking at 25 years now that they've been around. They are the epitome of the 80s rock glam, that vibe, sex, drugs, rock and roll. They have kept that mentality going as their shtick, as their performance, if you will.
It's a parody, though, of that.
It is a parody, but these guys write their own music. They write their...
and they can play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Michael Starr, if you're a new listener to this, we've said this numerous times. Michael Starr was in Rockstar.
Right.
Michael Starr sang for LA Guns. Who am I thinking of? He did something else. I can't pull off the top of my head. The ultimate guitarist for Steel Panther played with Rob Halford in Fight.
Right.
I mean, yeah, these guys can play. They're having a blast doing what they're doing. They take themselves probably less serious than their fans take them. But
but that's part of the thing is that you're in on the joke when you go to their show, and
100%.
I guess you have to realize that it's not, they're not making fun of quote unquote hair metal. They're parodying it, sure, but they're showing the excesses of what some of that stuff was, and there was a lot of excess, cheesy videos back then, which we all still watch, and lyrically, some of that stuff is like, what are you writing about? When you listen to it at our age now, but as long as you realize that they're still embracing how great that music was, even though they're in on the joke too, you can really enjoy some Steel Panther.
Yeah, they've put out 6 studio albums. The last one was On the Prowl, which was released February of 2023. 6 albums. We're not talking like, they do a couple songs here and there. I mean, these are 6 full albums. Original music. They've done some covers in the past. They started off as a Van Halen tribute band. They also started out under a different name. They were called Metal School with a K. That's SKOOL. Metal School.
Yeah, because school was so good to them.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, they're described as Van Halen meets Motley Crue meets Rat meets Wayne's World.
Satchel, the guitar player, right? Satchel.
Yes.
He is still in a Van Halen tribute, but it's Van Halen the Hagar era.
Right.
That he does on the side. That's really good. I've seen some stuff. It's really good.
Yeah.
The stuff they originated was the Roth era, the Atomic Punks. Was that band, right?
Right.
Yeah, and which I've talked about. If you ever wanted to replace Roth, why didn't you call Michael Starr? Right, he was doing a great job
for sure. And just to put it in perspective, Satchel in 1989 graduated, not quit, not walked out, graduated from the Guitar Institute of Technology in Hollywood. So, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's played for a bunch, but it was just important to get it out there and let everybody know that Steel Panther's got new music coming out. I know Mrs. TbT will be absolutely thrilled. She loves Steel Panther.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Okay. In other new music announcing, and I thought this was pretty huge when it was released a couple days ago, but then there was even more put out today. Aerosmith's Steven Tyler and Joe Perry have announced a collaborative new EP with none other than Yungblud,
the favorite son of rock and roll now.
Yeah, this 5-track effort is going to be titled "One More Time." I wonder if that's CLII, and will be out on November 21st, and will of course be preceded by a brand new single called "My Only Angel" that comes.
This is already in the can. Wow.
The new single "My Only Angel" comes out in 2 days. It comes out this Friday. The One More Time track listing includes 5 tracks. The aforementioned My Only Angel is track number 1. Track number 2 is called Problems. Track 3 is Wild Woman. Track 4, 1,000 Days. And then track 5 is a 2025 mix of Back in the Saddle. So this is 4 original songs and then a remix, whatever.
I'm sure. I'm sure Yungblud probably wanted to do an Aerosmith song. Please let me do an Aerosmith song with you.
For sure. I am super excited about this. Ever since back to the beginning, it's every single episode since then, there's been mention of Yungblud. I was reading something the other day. It might have been something with Sammy Hagar, where he said that he is, who was it? It was Sammy. He was talking about Yungblud, and he said he is like a mix of Freddie Mercury and somebody else. And he said he is the absolute future of rock and roll. And that's coming from Sammy Hagar, who's getting ready to celebrate, what, his 80th birthday?
No, well, not quite, but close.
Yeah, close.
You know, and the buzz around this guy, and the thing is, I heard of him a couple of years ago, and when I heard he did a duet that I loved with Avril Lavigne, I thought it was a great song. And then I wondered when this was coming out. When is he coming out with something? You know, but turns out he was coming out with stuff.
Yeah,
it's just you just didn't hear about it. And now there's so much buzz around him because of the Ozzy event, and people realizing that this guy's got some talent. The future of rock and roll, I don't know. We'll see, but the response that he is getting from people I know, female fans that I know, is over the top. It's over the top. I had a conversation with a friend of mine just the other day, a female friend who loves this guy, and talking to her about the accessibility that Yungblud has to male and female fans. And, is it harder for male fans to enjoy his music, because of this, the look or whatever? I don't think so. He's so talented.
Yeah.
And vocally, he's so well-rounded. So, and he's surrounding himself with the right people. He's Steven Tyler. You can't miss with that, right? Not only that, this is the guy everyone wants to hear. Not just Yungblud, but Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
Like, we want to hear him do something because of what we weren't able to for so long.
Well, and think about who he was on stage with at the Back to the Beginning concert. Nuno Betancourt. And granted, I don't think he's looking for a guitarist, but if you're going to put yourself together a super group or whatever, Nuno Betancourt, Frank Bello from Anthrax was playing bass, and this is when they were doing changes. And 2 from Sleep Token. I don't expect to see a Sleep Token Yungblud collaborate. You never know.
You never know.
Young Token or Sleep Blood. I don't know. But I mean, you think about the people he's been around, and he's been exposed to and exposing himself to. Don't put your mind in the gutter, Natalie. I mean, the sky's the limits right now. Kathy in the chat, Kathy said it's going to be awesome, and I know she's talking about this collaboration between him and Aerosmith. It's going to be amazing. I really think it will be.
I do too. And she also pointed out how much she likes him. She likes him a lot, and that's to my point. Is that's a female fan getting into rock, not getting into rock and roll. Kathy's already well into rock and roll, but getting into Yungblud, a newer artist,
right?
Because we haven't had something like this in a while. I'm not knocking anybody, but we've had a lot of gimmick music in a sense that Sleep Token has a gimmick, President has a gimmick, Ghost has a gimmick. This guy doesn't have a gimmick. He's got looks and he's got a voice. That's what he's got. And he's he snarls around like like the guys that we're used to. He snarls around like Steven Tyler and David Bowie and Freddie Mercury, and there's such an old school vibe and a throwback in a kid that's 27 years old. So I love it. I think it's going to be great. I've talked to some people where I'm trying to listen to more of this guy so I can get a better feel for him. It's just me getting around to the music,
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go in the chat right here. You see it.
Yeah.
Insane sex appeal. And that's the thing. And that's what I'm talking about with the male accessibility. Like you and I, do we want to listen to that? Back in the day, you had bands that you could do that with. Like your girlfriend liked them because for her reasons, and you liked them because you could access the music.
I disagree with one comment that Natalie made. It says that he's got a bad boy vibe. I don't get that. Everything that I've seen of him, everything that I've seen of him when he's interacting with fans or other people, he's nice as can be. He's polite. He
You're right.
is cordial. There's nothing bad boy about this other than the fact he wears leather. Big deal. This isn't, and we're going to dig into these guys a little bit later. This isn't Motley Crue. This isn't Nikki Sixx or Vince Neil
Where
from back
they
in the
got
day.
antics.
Right.
Yeah, you're not talking. He's not in the paper for the wrong reasons.
No.
He's in whatever a newspaper is, but he's in the news because of his talent and what projects he's got coming out. And it's I'm telling you, if you didn't know that he had 4 albums out, you would think he was brand new. With these collaborations he's doing. So yeah, I agree with you. He's nothing but polite, cordial, kind. Yeah, and Natalie backs that up by saying it's a vibe, it's a look. I get that. What she's trying to say there. But as far as the antics, no, this guy's got no antics.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I encourage everybody to check him out, whether it be on various social media platforms, YouTube, whatever. Get into his music, listen to him. I absolutely love you were talking about what he did with Avril Lavigne. I love what he did with Halsey. But I'm also a big Halsey fan for the most part in that collaboration, and I know those two dated for a while, whatever. But that song, 11 Minutes Too Late, or 11 Minutes, whatever it's called, that's a phenomenal song that those two put together. It's a quick song.
Yeah.
But it is an amazing track. And it's funny, and we can blame Yungblud for this. We're primarily a rock podcast. We talk about him, and now we're into talking about Halsey, Avril Lavigne.
Right.
But this is what we've talked about. It's all just, commingling together.
Right, because now you're talking about a cross appeal that he has.
Exactly. Much like Jelly Roll, Hardy.
Right.
But here's someone now that's
in a
more
rock vein.
Do what?
In a rock vein.
Yeah, exactly.
That can cross over and appeal. And that I think that's what they mean when they say the future of rock is that we got a guy now that can cross over into other stuff. He's not a band trying to break through. This is a guy that could probably put out a legit top 40 single.
Without a doubt.
In a rock vein. This is a guy that could be in a movie. This is a guy that could be on TV. Some of these bands have such a niche thing that we're seeing, and their fans are rabid. Ghost fans are rabid. Sleep Token fans are rabid. But this guy's building something I think that might be bigger because now he's here. Now he's here. He was in the UK. Now he's blowing up here, and I think it's going to be. It's late in the year, but we're going to see a lot of him before the year's out.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what other collaborations come out of all this. I am also very curious to know if this collaboration that he's done with Aerosmith, if this started because of what they did at Back to the Beginning. Like if this is the first time they met, and it's like, hey, we should do some shit together.
I think that's a lot of it. I think a lot of people, no one knew who this guy was.
No,
you got to,
I disagree with that.
Well, a lot of people did not know who this guy was.
Well, on the rock side, a lot of people did not. Pop side, sure.
You think so?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Between what he did with what we've already mentioned, Avril Lavigne and Halsey.
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying. He did these songs, and I kept waiting on the other shoe to drop.
Right.
What's the next thing? And it was until I almost forgot about him until the Ozzy tribute, the Black Sabbath tribute. I totally forgot about it, and then he pops up. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to him.
Not to shoot this story short, but I want to make sure we give us plenty of time to get to our last story. So before we get into that, one thing that's come out recently is Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction. Everybody remembers the fight that happened on stage between Dave Navarro and Perry Farrell. There was a lawsuit filed by the remaining members of Jane's Addiction against Perry Farrell and blah, blah, blah. Well, Perry Farrell has finally responded to his Jane's Addiction bandmates, of course, denying the accusations. Real quick, he says, let me find this real quick. He basically says, yeah, it's not all on me. I didn't do it all. It's not all my fault. So,
well, in band dynamics, is it ever one person's fault? You know, yeah, there's probably a lot of blame to go around in all of these things going on.
Yeah,
except for the next story.
We'll follow this Jane's Addiction thing more as it continues. I think it was just put out there so that we wouldn't forget about it. So back in March, April, somewhere around there, I've got stuff falling on me. March or April, I think it was. Motley Crue was supposed to have a residency in Las Vegas. Right. Unfortunately, it had to be postponed. We did not know why. It was just postponed because something. And yes, Natalie, Perry Farrell is very hard to say. But anyway, we now know why this residency was postponed.
Yeah, and this was highly speculated as the reason in the first place.
Right.
I think that had already got out there. Now we have confirmation, basically, right?
Yeah, we have confirmation from the man himself. A lot of people thinking that it had something to do with Vince Neil because basically everybody else was still in the news. Everybody else was still out in the public. But we had no Vince Neil. We had Vince Neil that could barely sing and doing all kinds of stuff, and people were concerned. But Vince Neil finally has revealed that around Christmas time of last year, he suffered a stroke. That original residency was scheduled from March 28th to April 19th, but of course had to be moved until this month, September of 2025, because that's what they said. They said that Vince Neil required a medical procedure, and he was also obviously advised by doctors. Vince Neil opened up to the Las Vegas Review-Journal about his previously undisclosed medical condition and says, I had a stroke. My whole left side went out. I had to learn to walk again, and that was tough. The doctors said they didn't think I'd be able to go back on stage again, and I told them, no, I'm going to do it. Just watch and see. He continues on saying he went from people carrying him to the bathroom because he couldn't walk himself to finally getting into a wheelchair. He graduated to a walker and then had a cane. Now I don't need anything, but it's like a full-time job getting back to where you feel good again. It takes a while to get your brain to start moving your legs, for them to do what your brain wants to do. You try to walk, but it doesn't come out right. He said that he worked with a football coach in Nashville, Tennessee, where Vince Neil resides, and has been doing a lot of running. He says it's tough, but I'm back. He says he's 90 to 95% to where he was before, and it's going to be great. This explains it all.
Right. I mean, that's huge.
You said it yourself just, 2 minutes ago. This was speculated. Rumors were out there. We all know how the rumors go, but it was rumored that it was a stroke or he rehab something. But now we have confirmation.
Right. And there was no way in this condition could he, perform. I mean, that should have been the last thing on anyone's mind. And I hope it was just getting him up, walking and being healthy again. Now, him having the drive to want to do that so he could get on stage because they told him he couldn't. I commend him for that. It's always good to have a goal to work toward, not even if it's not just walking again. He wanted to go beyond that. So I think it's great. But now we're to the point. We're doing the residency now, right? It's already started, correct?
That is correct.
Right. So he's made it that far. That's spectacular for him. So good on him. Glad he's healthy again.
Yeah, they actually kicked off their 2025 Las Vegas residency just this past Friday with a 13-song set that went through some of their biggest hits. There are numerous videos out there that you can see, that you can watch and see the performance, different songs. This was the band's first show in just under a year, and took place the same day Vince Neil revealed that he suffered a stroke. So the day that he talks about the stroke, that night they had a show. And if you remember, this was 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. We were talking about there was some rumor that they weren't selling tickets.
Right. They were not selling tickets, and there was all sorts of concern because will Vince be there?
Well, not just that, it was a concern whether he was going to be there or if they were going to have to cancel it. He was very noticeably and understandably moving around the stage very gingerly. I mean, this isn't the Vince Neil of the past that he's running up and down. But his voice, according to reports and some of the videos I've seen, his voice didn't sound bad. It's not 1984 freaking Vince Neil. Hell, it's not even 1990 Vince Neil or 92.
No.
It's 2025.
And he just had a stroke
less than a year ago. So as much crap as we give them,
which we do,
I give him nothing but props and kudos for telling the doctors that he's going to do this and looking this medical condition, this issue in the face, giving it a big middle finger, and getting back on stage.
I think, and I don't know what they've been doing set wise as far as the length of the set, but 13 or 14. This has 14. I'm looking at. That's probably plenty. For his condition, probably enough to get him through. I don't know what the residency costs, but hopefully you're okay with about an hour and 15-minute set.
It was 82 minutes.
82 minutes.
So an hour and 22 minutes.
Right. Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad.
It's not bad at all to do 13 or 13 songs, and included in that is a guitar solo, which of course you're not gonna. That'd be like going and seeing Billy Idol and not getting a Steve Stevens guitar solo. You're not gonna go to Motley Crue and not get a John 5.
And then you got a medley of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs.
Right.
They did, a medley, which that's all right too. Sometimes I used to hate medleys, but sometimes they work out.
Well, when you have bands that have a lot of different albums, a lot of good songs, sometimes they have to do the medley. Def Leppard is notorious for doing it.
I don't think a residency either is one where you do deep tracks. Anyway, because you're appealing to the casual fan, right?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, these are casual fans.
Sure. I would love to go to this, to go to one of these shows and hear some deep tracks. I mean, it's hard for me as a Motley Crue fan and listening to them since, I can remember. It's hard to come up with a deep track until you get into the later albums.
Right.
But I mean, they kick it off with Too Fast for Love. They did Live Wire. On with the show, of course, Home Sweet Home, Dr. Feelgood. They ended the show with Kickstart My Heart, which is an interesting song to end it with, but very upbeat. That's going to keep your blood pumping and people want more. But yeah, I mean, they did great. One of my favorite songs is You're All That I Need from Motley Crue. Love that song. Love the video. Look it up. It was banned by MTV back in the day, whatever. But it's good. In addition to this, John 5 was on Eddie Trunk not too long ago, and he actually spoke about the band's return to the stage. And they weren't sure if this was even going to take place. They had to get to rehearsal and actually see if it was going to work, because they're not going to let this happen if he's not doing what he's supposed to do, not moving good, not singing good. But John 5 says that when they got there, they were like, "Oh wait, he's actually moving good." And then when he started singing, he was like, "Oh, he's actually singing great." I don't know what we're comparing it to. If we're
Right.
comparing it
What's
to,
great?
yeah, what's great? Great enough to go on? Great. That's
Right.
fantastic. And I don't think John 5 is just saying this because, he's the new guy in the band. He's not going to want to go out there and embarrass himself or embarrass the legacy that is Motley Crue.
Right. Right. Because
Some
he realizes too, John 5, that he's bearing that legacy a bit because of who he has replaced.
Sure.
He seems to me to be a very humble guy and takes this very seriously. So yeah, I trust the guy to say, he sounds good. And I think when you say good, you mean for all things considered. All things considered, this ain't bad.
Yeah. His interview, John 5's interview with Eddie Trunk was actually after they had already done the first two shows. And he said that they were so much fun. They're having a blast, blah, blah, blah. So it's good. I am happy to see Vince back on stage. Even after all the crap we give them, some people are going to continue to say they should have retired when they were on top. You know what? You could say that about a bunch of freaking bands. You could say it about Kiss 10 years ago when they were on their first retirement tour. Or was that 20 years ago? I don't remember.
Well,
but it's okay.
And look at what we're seeing come out from Roth, So
we don't have time to talk about David Lee Roth.
So if Vince is better than that, we'll take it.
Yeah. The one last thing we'll mention about Motley Crue is don't forget that Motley Crue is still in the middle of a lawsuit that was brought on by former and original lead guitarist Mick Mars. One of the things that Mars claimed back when he did his lawsuit was that Vince and Tommy Lee all used pre-recorded backing tracks during their last tour that they did with Mick Mars, and that was the big stadium tour, if I'm not mistaken. In a recent interview with the LA Times, Nikki Sixx basically called some of those comments that Mick Mars made as crazy betrayal, saying he played in a band that didn't play. It's a betrayal to the band who saved his life. Nikki Sixx goes on to explain that any backing tracks that are used live are only there to enhance the sound, not to replace what should be played live. His words are, anything we enhance the shows with, we actually played. See, that makes my brain click a little bit. Anything we enhance the shows with, we actually played.
So that tells me that they played the actual tracks they're using. So thus, it's us playing live because you hear it. It's like girl math. If I pay cash, it's free.
Were you trying to mansplain this? I don't know. If there are background vocals with my background vocals, and we have background singers to make it sound more like a record, that does not mean we're not singing. Dissect that for a minute. If there are background vocals with my background vocals, and we have background singers to make it sound more like the record, that does not mean we're not singing. What? I'm so confused.
Now, I don't think that I don't want to see Nikki not playing bass. I don't want to see John 5, and I don't think you will, not playing guitar.
No.
Tommy should play his drums. I'm cool if you bring backup singers on stage, and they have.
Yeah.
That's what they should do. I joked with you before we went on the air that if any band should use backing tracks for a lead vocalist, it should be Motley Crue.
Yeah.
But as we just talked about, I'm glad that he can go up there and sing live.
Me too.
That's almost a badge of honor, I got to hear Vince Neil, after at his worst, and he's still up there doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see any of that. Now, I've talked about before.
Get to your point. We're out of time.
Okay, if they are using backing tracks for a piano part, a synthesizer part,
who cares?
Who cares? A saxophone that is, we're not paying a sax player for one song. I'm cool with that. I just don't want to hear. I don't want to pay $300 to hear tracks.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. So keep doing what you're doing. Play your air guitar. Lip sync your stuff, and I'm not talking to them, the band. I'm talking about to us, the casual listener, the ones that are jamming in their garage. Lip sync your stuff like MTV video. Play air guitar, do your air drums, whatever. But I will tell you this: if you dare act like you're playing the drums for a Def Leppard song and you're playing with both arms, there's a special place in hell for you.